welcome to ETRetail. We are doing a special panel today on the growing importance of F&B category in malls. Why are we doing this? Because the malls are increasing and they are taking more spaces here in India. Apart from that, we have also seen their rise in the share of F&B from 10% to 25%. Why is this happening? Because the consumers are looking for experiences. Either they are looking for experiences or they want to spend some quality time with their family. And what place better than malls? Because it gives them an option to shop and spend some quality time eating, going to FEC and other places. So to discuss all these things, we have with us today Jatin Goel, who is the ET of Omaxe Malls. We have with us today Sharad Madan, who is the co-founder and director of Khubani and Imperfecto, and Kabir Advani, who is the founder of Bercos. Welcome you all to the special panel today. So let me start with you, Jatin, first. I want to know how the malls are changing their entire thing to attract more consumers over there.
Thank you, Charu. I think first of all, I need to thank you for getting all of us over here to talk about this major trend that's shaping up the Indian retail industry altogether. The movement of F&B and the increase of space for this particular category in here. As you rightly said earlier, the consumers are moving away from the trend of buying things to a trend of buying experiences. So today, all the malls, new malls which are coming up, they're not focusing on just the value part. They're focusing on the overall experience. The minute you step into a mall, the whole decoration, the whole events are done in a manner that you've come and you're enjoying a third place. A third place is a concept which is probably starting up just now over here, like we never really addressed it earlier. First place is something where you actually spend majority of your time, which is your home, sleeping. Second place is probably for you over here where you work. And third place you require, just to go somewhere else and, spend your time. So malls are shaping up as a place for you to come over there. And F&B has been a major category that's driving it right now. I would not only say that 30% is the number. There are malls right now which are doing only F&B. There are a couple of malls which have already opened up in India. In Bangalore, there's Nexus with, I think, a footprint of 1,25,000. And after the success of the first mall, they're opening up another one with a 5 lakh square feet. And it actually astonishes me to think about a 5 lakh square feet of only F&B. I think our friend sitting over here, you guys need to come up with a lot more concepts in place for people to, grab into their mouths. As you said, the gastronomic experiences. I think everybody wants not just sitting at home and eating and probably ordering Zomato, Swiggy. People want to get out and experience the world cuisine. So it's a great time to be in this space. We're enjoying it too much.
So malls are no longer places for shopping, only for shopping. They are becoming experience centers. Consumers want to go and have different experiences over there. And F&B being the major part is actually attracting a lot of consumers' footfall also to the malls.
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example of a project that we're doing in Chandni Chowk. It's called Omaxe Chowk, and we developed this concept called Davatpur. And we're naming it as the city of food, wherein we are going back in time where how old Delhi, the Chandni Chowk, used to be contributing 25% of the world GDP. You can imagine how glorious that time would be, right? And there would not just be the Mughal or Indian or British cuisine over there. There would be like world cuisine happening under the trade umbrella of Chandni Chowk. So Davatpur comprises of, again, as I said, 1,25,000 square feet with close to about 60 different offerings in the format of restaurants or QSRs, or I would say even in terms of the kiosks that are coming up. Sharad over here is actually planning, and we would like to hear more. I would like to hear more from Sharad that what's going on in his mind. He's taken up some space over there, and going along with the theme of Davatpur, he's building something, I'm sure, amazing out there.
So tell me, Sharad, because we've seen that, you've taken up the space, you have decided to build a new restaurant over there. So I want to know from you what consumers are expecting these days out of F&B places at the malls, and what steps are you taking, to actually get the maximum pie from their pockets?
Hi, Charu. Firstly, thank you for inviting me here. Okay, and I'm working very closely in this mall. We are opening one outlet, called the Omaxe Chandni Chowk. It's an amazing concept, and I think Jatin really has taken a big decision to open something like that in a place like Chandni Chowk, where everything is very unorganized, and he's trying to bring the same experience into an organized way. So we are a part of that mall. We are very lucky and very happy and very excited at the same time. Uh, since that mall is located in Chandni Chowk, we wanted to, be very, again, be, be into the same tonality how the, surroundings are. So we are doing a very heritage kind of a concept.
Nice.
And yes, as like Jatin said, he's also trying to bring in different vendors that are there in the high street. He's trying to bring them inside the mall, so then people do not have to eat out in the streets, and they have a good experience while they are seated, and they can have a great experience at the end.
So you are also experimenting with various formats. What is the reason behind it, and how do you think it is going to help you going ahead?
I think we've been probably now in the business for the last 40 years, and we continue to focus on Bercos, which is our main brand. Of course, the new brands were more opportunity driven rather than planned, and it did well. So we've expanded a couple of those right now. But again, focus being Bercos, we're expanding those two different places. We are a part of Chandni Chowk, making Chinese food, Chandni Chowk too, and yeah, that's it. I guess malls have. I mean, today you see it's basically people go out for an experience, like you rightly said, and and people are looking for where would you find I think close to 50-60 brands in one food court, which is never heard of, and I think first one in India, and excited to be a part of it, and this thing. But yeah, I think well done, and it's a great initiative to start with, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
So Jatin, I want to know from you. There used to be an era when only about the zone. I'm talking about the zoning. The only the upper floor and the topmost floor was utilized by the food players in a food court. But now when we see, I mean, various floors, there are certain formats which are there. So according to you, which format works the best for the malls, and how do you see it growing going ahead?
So I think rightly identified that all the F&B was just put on the topmost floor of any property to drive the crowd, throughout the whole mall itself. But nowadays, any cafes, any new genre kind of food which is available is opening now on ground floors, which is a new thing to see. So if you even look at City Walk for now, there's Starbucks, there's Tim Hortons, there's Andrea's Eatery, which is all on the ground and first floor. And I believe the concept will keep on increasing more and more, because at the end of the day, for us as business, we need to see the revenue that we're making per square feet, right? So a lot of retailers have seen that food is pulling more. The reason for people to come and be in that space, and shopping becomes a byproduct.
Yeah.
So if you're in a mall, you're probably in a ground floor sipping a cup of coffee, you may just realize, okay, I'll just go to Zara and get something. I may require that as well. So it's been a great trend.
The roles have changed now.
The roles have changed. Like I'll tell you. So we are in Faridabad, and we are spread across 2 million square feet. It's a high street market, and I would say in Delhi NCR at least, it's the only location where you would get an F&B offering from more than 100 outlets on the ground floor. So, like, we never imagined that we would plan it that way, but because of the market forces, it has shaped up so well now that for any person who's around Faridabad or South Delhi, it's just become a great destination to go out with family and enjoy and spend a day.
Ashad, I want to know, being a restaurant owner, how open are you to the idea of opening a experienced restaurant of yours at the ground floor in any mall?
Well, I would love to do that, really, because see, there is a certain perception what people have, like, okay, there is a food court and it is on the top floor, like that, and then generally people hesitate at times to, people want comfort, so at times they hesitate to climb up that or go up the third floor or the fourth floor. So what is more convenient is that while they are shopping, if they are feeling hungry, they just want to step to the next door and then grab a bite. So and of course it helps restaurateurs also, because the footfall is much more, and what you're trying to show to the people, you are able to show also, because usually, as you rightly said, that top floors are mainly like food courts. So people sometimes don't want to go to food courts. They don't want to sit on a community table. They want to have a good experience, like how they generally do in high streets. So being on the ground floor, I think it is a big advantage. But then at the same time, the developers also need to work on their numbers to see how much return they are getting per square feet. But for restaurateurs, it's a blessing to be there.
I'll just add to what just Sharad said. I believe the concept of a food court is a completely value-driven activity wherein you're getting an affordable meal for the whole family by the end of your shopping experience, right? With this project Chandni Chowk, I think we're changing that whole perception, because we're doing up the whole food court like you probably see in Khubani in terms of the interiors. We're putting the street food in there, so we want the street experience to come in. That's what the customers want today. They want accessibility with convenience. They still want to eat those golgappas, but they want convenience with it. Is why Haldirams became Haldirams today, right? So we're not doing that as a whole concept. So food court, no. Dawatpur, yes.
Kabir sir, I want to ask from you, how have you seen your mall store specifically recently? How have you seen the footfalls increasing, and has it resultantly, impacted your revenues? Also increased your revenues that ways?
Yeah, for sure. Malls are definitely growing, and of course, there are. It's a mix, right? There are successful malls, there are unsuccessful malls also. So you have to be really careful over there. But for us, a successful mall has definitely, you've seen footfall growing over a period of time, and now so more. We've never seen. I mean, it's never been so good, honestly. I mean, the kind of footfalls you're seeing today, you've never seen them before, and I think. Again, great times to be in a part of a mall, and a mall that does well. You definitely benefit by everyone else's success, because someone else wants to come for some other food today, tomorrow will come for us, and they're coming to buy some clothes, and then they'll come to us. So it's a it's a controlled space. It's got it's a whole experience. You're spending the whole afternoon or evening there. You have ample parking. You got air conditioning. So it's I think footfall is only growing. Again, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. There are some who are really successful, who are doing really well and doing even better. And of course, there are the others which are, yeah.
So according to what defines the success of a mall?
I don't know. For me, my experience tells me, I could be totally wrong, but I've seen the trend generally is that whenever malls are kind of owned malls, they tend to see more success, where they have more control over the brand mix, they may have more control over the zoning, they have more control over the leasing, because you don't want to see empty spaces, you don't want some odd person next to you, it's not a thing. So clearly success for me, I believe, is our experience is that owned malls definitely do much better than, sold malls, which are.
So he's talking about the zoning. I want to know from you. When Jatin, he's talking about the zoning. When you do the zoning and when you place certain brands with certain brands, so what things do you keep in mind, and where is the right place according to you place the F&B players, and which format on which floor, and have you also seen the change in the sizes of the stores recently, because F&B has become a crowd puller?
No, absolutely. Yeah. So a mall, I would say, is a living organism. So as Sir rightly pointed out, that it needs to be in control of the developer. And in control, by control, I mean the zoning, the leasing, the brand mix, everything, the experience of the whole property itself has to be in control of one particular person, because with that vision, you can really drive what you want to do with that property. Having said that, there's a simple mix of anchors and vanillas.
Yeah.
Anchors is the big ticket size, taking the big spaces, driving the major footfall. They need to be put in particular corners of the property, and the crowd moves around. So that's a very dumbbell shaped, architecturally speaking, standard model that goes on, takes up the low ground of the first floor. Along with that, there's vanilla, and there's in vanilla itself, there's apparel, there's ethnic wear itself, which usually takes up the topmost space again because of the economics of what they can pay. And F&B is right now still exploring itself. It started with the topmost floor. Now it's gotten to the ground floor. I am personally not sure. Should Zara open a cafe within itself? That's something that times will tell us.
With the IKEAs of the world opening their own cafes, I guess that is the way forward.
Absolutely.
See, to add to what Jatin just said, I think a restaurant is, not just the sole contributor, but I would say it plays a very vital role. A restaurant would bring in about 300 people, in one shop, and not many stores, can bring in 300 people at one go. So you'll see shoppers coming in and out and like that. Yeah, overall throughout the day, the footfall could be more. But I personally feel that a restaurant brings in a lot more people. And I'm not talking about brands like Zara or H&M. Yeah, of course, their footfall is much more. But a restaurant has the capacity to bring in that kind of crowd, and I'm sure the developers are seeing that thing and they see it to their advantage. And that is a reason, why they are bringing in more F&B. They're adding more and more F&B brands to the mall, because it'll eventually help the developer and the other retailers also. When we have 300 people, they are not just coming to have food. At the same time, they want to watch a movie. At the same time, they want to do shopping. So everything is under one single room.
Kabir sir, I've observed one more thing. When we go to for example, if I go to X Mall and then Y Mall, the same brand which is there in X Mall also and Y Mall also, their interiors, their concept is entirely different these days to attract more consumers, because consumers are looking for experiences. Do you think this thing works better for the malls, or do you think the same size, same store format, same looking things work better for the malls?
I guess I'm not the right person to be answering that, but having said that, our brand kind of the whole is not really a you don't come there for the kind of experience, so say, but of course you experience the food and you experience this thing, but it's mainly more about food, and I think we kind of keep the design and all similar, in between different brands. I guess design would be probably changing when your concept changes or something, but if it's the same menu, same food, our designs are kind of similar between, because we keep on changing and tweaking it, but it'll be like there'll be a 10 or 20% difference between the design, but 80% would kind of be the same.
I'll take that up. For us, we've seen multiple properties, different brands, having the same interiors experience, because that's what's going to make them a brand if they're starting up, because a particular kind of experience is expected of a particular store. Having said that, doesn't mean that they miss out on the different part that they can bring into a different store. That totally depends on the governance of a particular mall itself. As Sir rightly said, maybe a Nexus or a City Walk, which is self-owned, may have some other governance practices with respect to how a store can particularly run than something which is operating on a high street. So that experience changes, but I think the brand itself doesn't change.
Okay. So I want to ask from you, Sharad, the F&B success we are talking about. As the F&B is growing in the malls, do you see some changes in the relationship? How has it improved the relationship between the mall owners and the F&B players?
Well, it has changed, I am sure. Like I said, we are one of the contributors to, we are getting in the crowd, we are spending a lot of money in the interiors, and, giving a lot of reasons for the customer to come in. And then again, the kind of marketing that a F&B brand does day and night, they actually don't sleep. Every day they need to find a reason how to bring in a customer. Whereas a mall, don't mind, the mall, they've made the property, at the end, and, they've gotten the best brand mix. I think they've done their 90% of the job there. Now, when players like us, we step in, our real job starts from there. We need to design it in such a nice way that the customer does not, go anywhere else. He wants to come to you every time. We need to market it, so nicely that, day and night we are able to generate the revenues to pay to the malls and then, pay our expenses. So I think that's something that I feel that it is very important, and for us also, because see, a lot of players, who are just experimenting. See, what happens is when you are opening in a standalone, you need to open in a size which is 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. In a mall, you get that flexibility where somebody wants to experiment with the 250 square feet or a 400 square feet, would approach the mall and say, okay, I want to open a kiosk here. So, and then if that experiment works, then they can, simply be shifted to another floor or like that in a bigger size. Then malls are also supporting, the malls are, giving us like a revenue share model, where we are not purely bleeding just by paying the rentals. They are facilitating us with that kind of a revenue share model where, okay, if the revenue reaches certain amount, then okay, you share the revenue with us. And if you don't, okay, then you are paying a MG, like a minimum guarantee rental. So it works for both, it's a win-win for both. So this collaboration is good.
Yeah, I think I've been seeing this over a period of time, and I think times have really changed for the good. I think mall owners are respecting and valuing brands and looking at more a collaborative effort, and like you said, more revenue share models, more teamwork, than a landlord and a tenant kind of a relationship. So, and I see this trend heading in a very, very good direction. It's more collaborative. Definitely, restaurants getting more importance to being a part of the mall and valuing the brands, So I think this is heading in a really good way, in a good direction.
Also, I would like to add on, and I'd like to appreciate one more thing. See, what happens is when you are on a high street and you have situations like COVID, to speak to the landlord, to make him understand, the importance of your brand or the kind of money that you spend, it doesn't really, help you succeed. But when, it's a mall, it's like a family, they like to take care of all their tenants. So anything, a pandemic like that comes in, so everybody, sits together and tries to find a solution. So that's, again, something very helpful for, restaurateurs.
The malls and all the tenants stand by stand, hand in hand during the adversities.
Yeah. Absolutely, we have to. We're a family, as Sharad rightly pointed out. For the consumers, we have to do that.
So before we close, I want to ask a common question to all of you. Can malls sustain without F&B? And what steps the F&B players and malls can take to make this relationship more stronger?
No, so the clear answer to that question is a big no. Can you survive without eating? No, you cannot. Of course, you would want your customers to come into a retail property and spend the whole day. So F&B plays the most important part, and in different formats now it's coming up. Experiential formats it's coming up. I'll give you again another example of a property that we're developing as of now. It's in Dwarka, coming up in 55 acres, Sports City, which is going to be one of the largest developments in Delhi NCR that we have seen, with the concept of sports. So a stadium is being built, Firozshah Kotla matches will probably shift over there. So we're building a lot more retail and F&B around sports. So we know of one particular format called Underdogs, which celebrates sports, but are there really any more? We are probably going to create a lot more in that particular thing. And we're creating a plaza, an open plaza of around 3 acres, which is going to be full of like kiosk, all kind of open spaces will be there. And both ends of that plaza is just completely full of F&B. That's been designed in a manner that F&B is appreciated even more, and retail is more towards inside. So definitely F&B is going to play a major role in the coming years. And we're going to go hand in hand and give the best kind of experience that is there to give to our customers.
Unless a mall is only women-centric, then yes, they can survive without F&B.
No, women also love to eat. How can you say that?
They love to shop more than they eat, is what Sharad is trying to say.
But yes, I think a good mall is about a good brand mix, a good amalgamation of retail, F&B, kid zone, supermarket, cinema, all this is very important for any mall to survive, because that's what, as we go ahead, the time is going to fall short. So people would want to, do many things in just, one visit. So in 3 hours, they would want to shop, eat, etc. So, I think F&B is again an important part of every mall, and we cannot live with the idea of eradicating it.
Would you like to add something?
Yeah, I
to it?
guess same thing. I mean, definitely we're looking at exciting times in the sense that we love to have more developers creating more hubs. Earlier were times when, you'd not want to be somewhere where there are too many restaurants, but today I think it's changed. Everyone's happy to be a part of a hub because, more people come there, there are more options to eat, and, so I guess going ahead, it's exciting. And what's really important, I would say, is it's great to have, mall owners who are equally a part of driving in traffic to the malls than restaurateurs are. So when they take that responsibility, there's success assured for that, I guess.
The future is very bright for the F&B players in the malls, and I hope if they keep on moving hand in hand, we'll have more places to eat, more places to shop, and more places to enjoy. Thank you all for joining us today. See you all at the GIRS on 15th and 16th of February in Mumbai. Till then, bye.